Hi, hello, hi, and welcome to All Our Hearts and Minds. Thank you again for tuning in. We're here to discuss all things that have been on our hearts and minds, the good, the bad, the concerning and uplifting, or just straight talk. We're your hosts, Kimmy, our passionate heart.
Yeah.
And then there's me, Jeanette, our mind and chronic overthinker. Let's get into it.
Yes.
Okay, listeners, thanks again for tuning in. We're back again for a new episode. This is to just mark the time of the year, our Juneteenth slash summer solstice episode, first day of summer.
That's
That's when
right.
we're recording. And so thanks again for tuning in. We're going to be covering Juneteenth, Fat Joe, the Trump celebrations, an interesting story that's happening here in Ottawa and Montreal with a missing 3-year-old that was thankfully
Yes.
found. Keke Palmer's new album, and we're going to be doing another Summer While Black,
Right?
another While Black episode in our While Black series. And we definitely don't think we forgot about you, Tyler. We're going to be talking about Tyler
We're
Perry as
coming
well
to
in
you,
this
Tyler.
episode.
We're coming.
All right. So anyway, before we jump into anything, we can't jump into nothing until we do our
Right?
checkup and our check-in. So my friend Kimmy, how was your week?
My week was pretty good. The warmer weather has been nice. Like, honestly, over here in Toronto, trust me, when the weather turned nice, people turn happy. Everybody gets happy around here. It was nicer weather and work was okay.
Mm-hmm.
It was work. There's a little bit
Mm-hmm.
of a so drama going on at my workplace, but which we've talked about before. But honestly, like, I can't complain. Don't want to complain. It's been a pretty good week. How about you?
Nice. Yeah, I would say it was a pretty good week as well. Yeah, I've been feeling good. Nothing
Hmm.
to be
It's that
upset about.
sunshine, I tell you, girl. It's the
Yeah.
sunshine.
I've been honestly feeling pretty good and pretty optimistic. So we
Hmm.
just take that for what it is and keep trying to maintain that energy.
That's right. That's right. Hmm.
So it sounds like we're doing good, which is
Right.
amazing.
Everything is good over here.
All
Yeah.
right, so with that, we're going to jump into our headlines. And before we jump into our headlines, thanks again for tuning in, everybody. If
Yes.
you're tuning in, please give our podcast a rating, a star, or 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 on
Right.
Spotify
Much
or
appreciated.
Apple
Hmm.
Podcasts. Drop us a comment, drop us a note. We're on all podcast networks as well as YouTube. So please continue to tune in, and thanks again.
Yes.
We're going to jump into our headlines now. And okay, first, we need to start with Juneteenth.
Right.
We need to start with Juneteenth. Juneteenth, I mean, it happened, and I hate to say it did have a lot less. I'm in the corporate world.
Right.
I work in a company that is American based. It's global, but it's headquartered in the US. And I've been affected by the Trump administration. Let me tell
Okay.
you. Okay.
Okay.
And
Shoot.
so definitely came with a lot less fanfare this year than when it was
Yeah.
the Biden administration, who the Biden administration made it a public holiday. So it was still a
Right.
public holiday, thank God. Like my US counterparts were off on Thursday. But definitely a lot less fanfare and a lot more downplaying. I would just
Hmm.
say, from my personal POV in the corporate world, I mean, online I saw a lot of great celebrations, but it's hard to really celebrate knowing what's really going on with them trying to erase history and everything
Right.
in the US. Anyway, I'm talking about it without giving context. And for those who don't know, if you don't know, I don't know how you don't know, but it's
And
possible. We all learn new things every day.
that's true.
But Juneteenth,
But it's been around forever. Like, you should know.
yeah, but
I'm just
remember,
saying. I'm
I
just saying.
actually, I can't say. Well, you know what? I only honestly really learned what it really was recently with after when it was being championed as a holiday in the U.S. after the George Floyd protests.
Right.
So I won't even front. So anybody, it's okay. I really learned what Juneteenth. I've been hearing about it.
Right.
When I consume U.S. content and TV shows. I've been hearing about it,
Right.
but I never really knew. I
In
never
depth,
really
what it
recalled
is.
in depth the
Yeah.
history and the context of it. I just knew it was a big holiday that's a really celebrated mostly in the South.
Right.
To that effect too.
Yeah.
Anyway, so June 19th is acknowledges when in June 19th, 1865, a major from
Mm-hmm.
arrived in Galveston, Texas, announcing the end of slavery over 2 years after the official end of slavery, which
Okay.
was the Emancipation Proclamation in
Mm-hmm.
1865. So it ended in 1863, but these folks in Texas, Galveston,
Right?
Texas, didn't know till 2 years later. They were still under the old regime, let's say.
Wow.
And so it is the longest running African American holiday, and America is considered America's second Independence Day. And there
Mm-hmm.
are some folks in the African American community who acknowledge that as their Independence Day, which contextually, knowing the history, makes complete sense.
Right. Right.
Um, it is a unique and powerful commemoration of the absolute end of chattel slavery in the US. I think that's something to be celebrated no
Yeah.
matter what your race is in America.
Mm-hmm.
It's a moment when you broke free of something that was very dark and inhumane. So I think it should be celebrated by all.
Yes.
The
Yes.
holiday, yeah, so the holiday now became a federal holiday in by the Biden administration in 2022, like we said, a little bit after the George Floyd protest. And it's about education and reflecting. It's not about, and equality and just acknowledging this was like, it's crazy that it happened, but it happened, right? And
Right?
at the end of the day, folks that were not free were legally free. I don't know if it really happened in context, but legally it was written into the Constitution, and
Mm-hmm.
the end of an era, or the start of an end of an era. So, I was looking online trying to find some stuff, and again, it was very. I saw some cute posts, but it was nothing near
No.
what we saw in the last couple years. What about you? Did you see anything interesting or
No,
notice?
I've noticed less and less as the years have gone on. To be honest,
Mm-hmm.
George Floyd, I've noticed less and less. Now I know that Juneteenth is celebrated by pretty much everybody in the
Mm-hmm.
United States that's Black descent. However, I've noticed that the emphasis is really on more of those southern states that really celebrate it. They go all
Mm-hmm.
out for it. Not to say that, the upper states like New York, for instance, that they do. I think national wide it's celebrated. However, I've noticed the emphasis being stronger in the South, where they
Yes,
go all out. Like,
it's a big deal.
big,
Yeah.
big deal, right? It's like July 4th for them, it's a big, big deal. And I can appreciate that. I wish over here in Canada we had a little bit of that as well, too, because we do have, Independence Day over here. You sent me the clip the other day acknowledging that Canadians do also have a history in slavery. Um,
Yes, that's what I was gonna. That
right.
was actually gonna be my second point. Are you gonna bring up Emancipation Day?
Well, I'll let you do that, but I
Yeah.
did want to because I think that we should do that more up here in Canada.
Yeah.
However, because we're so international up here, like we're so multicultural up here, like we do celebrate that. I think it's more of a West Indian thing because I
Mm-hmm.
noticed the timeline of when that is here in Canada is usually on the civic holiday. So
Mm-hmm.
we do it. I don't think we acknowledge it as much, but we
Mm-hmm. I
do
agree.
it over here in Canada. Anyway, back to my point with I have noticed a decline, but I also noticed that no matter what's going on, the South is celebrating this full
Oh
steam,
yeah.
like
Okay.
full steam.
Okay.
They
And now
don't
that you
play
get they
down
get the
there.
day off, now that they get the day off to
What?
do it.
It took them 2 years, 2 extra years to find out. So them say, yeah, we're gonna make sure, and it's sad because one thing is for sure, communication is key. Like if this wasn't communicated and passed out, can you imagine how much longer they could have not found out? Like we didn't have technology back when Juneteenth was actually a day that was started. We
Mhm.
didn't have the technology. So it literally had to have been from word of mouth to word of mouth and maybe
Yeah.
state to state. And can you imagine 2 extra years in a slavery? 2 extra years in a slavery, Lord God. But you know what? I'm glad that there is something for, African Americans to celebrate that specifically for them. seeing
Mhm.
that they built America. They
Mm.
built America. Yeah,
Mhm.
the very least they should get is a day. The very
Yeah.
least. You know what I mean? But
Mhm.
anyhow.
Right.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
what are you going to the second point
No, I
about
was
you?
just gonna say, so for some Canadian context, is that that is the day that that's Juneteenth, but in our local market here, for us locally, our equivalent is Emancipation Day, which is August 1st, which is actually celebrating the year that August 1st, 1833, when the British Empire passed the Slavery Abolition Act, which banned slavery throughout all the British colonies. And so that's why a lot of Canadians that are a part of the Commonwealth, like countries that are part of the Commonwealth, which is Canada, the Caribbean, like you mentioned,
Mhm.
acknowledge that day as a day of celebrating freedom for people of African descent.
Mhm.
So August 1st, and that was not really an official holiday in Canada, same time as
Mhm.
Juneteenth,
Mhm.
2021.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
better late than never, I
Right?
guess.
I guess so. I guess
Uh,
so.
so anyway, happy Juneteenth to those who celebrate it,
Yes.
and we gotta make sure we're keeping it big. Don't let the government doesn't dictate our history, right?
Well,
So
that's the truth. That
whether
is the
it's a
truth.
mandated and as a holiday or not.
Right? And
um,
but I'm glad, exactly as you said. So happy Juneteenth to all those African Americans worldwide. I'm gonna say that I'm gonna make this an international thing. I think we should
mhm,
all have a day of rest and
mhm,
celebration. But specifically, I guess right now for the people in the United States, happy
yeah,
Juneteenth to you guys. Go out there,
yeah.
make sure you communicate with each other and have good times with each other. Come together as a people. It's a good
Mhm.
time. Hmm.
Yeah. So the next story, Fat Joe. Ooh, it's
Out
a day
here
of
in these
reckoning.
streets.
Everybody
Okay.
having a day of reckoning. So Fat Joe recently had a former colleague sue him for a bunch of things. Sue him, but also would make a lot of allegations, concerning allegations, about Fat Joe and his business dealings. Outside of what Fat Joe allegedly did to him,
Ugh.
I think the thing that people are really fixating on in the lawsuit, there is a lot of allegations of sexual acts and forced sexual acts with minors, allegedly, and coercion and underpayment and a lot of nefarious things. Um, that's what I think people are focused on. But in terms of the man, Terrence Dixon, known also, he used to be employed by Fat Joe as a DJ and hype man, and he is alleging that he was on tracks, he wrote songs, he's wasn't paid for his contributions to music and things like that.
Hmm.
And he's also thrown in Rock Nation as a defendant, who is the label, I assume, that or management that Fat Joe was probably under, and
Hmm.
alleging they either knew or should have known. And I think everybody's taking a note out of Cassie's lawsuit, which we talked about extensively.
Yep.
One of the things that was interesting about that lawsuit that I think really made it very effective in kind of shutting down Diddy's supporters and people who are connected to him is that bringing up the businesses,
Right.
right? So if you're a powerful person and you have a lot of assets, you know, and that are publicly traded, which is, like a company like say Revolt or um even Bad Boy or even the Cirocs of the world, all those
Right.
things, those are companies where there's a lot of vested interest from investors. And
Hmm.
these investors don't want nothing to harm their money or their
That's
business.
right.
And so if you want to really screw somebody over in their connection to a business and their money, you bring up their business connections in the lawsuit that you have against them personally, and
Right.
people are gonna get really uptight. Their booty holes are gonna like,
Squeeze
okay,
tight.
right? So
Okay.
anyway, yeah. So I just thought that was interesting. It's a new trend, and I think everybody saw that as a brilliant move, and they're doing that in their massive lawsuits. Um, to be honest, like I said, with anybody else, I can't put nothing past anybody. I mean,
Right?
Cat Williams came and told us. So,
It's the year
um,
of the truth. It's the year of truth.
so I can't say anything in defense or anything in. Even if I liked him, even if it's a star that I like, I have to be like, I need to wait and see the receipts. Let me hold
Right?
my tongue a little bit,
I need to
right?
see them receipts first before I sign up for
So I
anybody.
well, but I'll just say anecdotally, just went from my POV as a layman who doesn't know nothing. Um, this could be like obviously Dixon feels maybe here's how I'm reading it.
Mm-hmm.
Not to because really for him he just wants his money, but in doing that he wants to bring up a lot of things to make Fat Joe nervous.
Right?
Again, these so that's why he's bringing up the sexual relationships with minors, which will make him nervous. But I think again he probably went to Fat Joe, asked for money, and Fat Joe said hell no, and here we are today.
And he said, sorry about your luck, but I'm going to make sure that everybody and their mother knows what you're actually doing out here.
Mhm.
Um, I don't put it past Fat Joe. I'll be
Yeah,
honest. I don't put it
yeah.
past him. Um, from day one, I'll be honest with you. I've never really liked Fat Joe. Like, I've never
Well,
really
yeah. Well,
liked
I
him
he rubbed me. He rubs
from
me
the
the wrong way
very
for
beginning.
obvious reasons with the N word debate.
Right?
So that's why he rubs me the wrong way. It's almost kind of like a Diddy and Biggie relationship, like him
Right.
and Big Pun. When you look at him and Big Pun, so there's always been that kind of weird
Exactly.
little thing
And
there.
and
So,
him himself, like he gives me creep vibes. I don't know
mm,
why. He's always given me that vibe of being very creepy. That he's a man that you I don't know, he has a lot of secrets. Like he looks like he's holding back a lot of secrets. And I don't know, I've never really liked Fat Joe. So this doesn't really surprise me a whole lot. But what is consecutive is that this is another cautionary tale. And I just don't understand how all of these famous men are seeing each other's demise and are
mm,
still like there's still people who are viewing this and still going on with their nonsense and their shenanigans. Like I think everybody, it should be like a dried up desert. Like, I don't understand. How do you see Diddy on trial like this and still be going after minors, like, or dating minors, or even interested in minors? Like, I'm just flabbergasted because I would think that the people, like Fat Joe, okay, would be careful, very careful.
mm,
And it just seems like everybody is getting super sloppy, like super sloppy, to the point where now these accusations are out here. Like I okay, now here's what I'm not saying. I'm not saying that it's okay that they're doing any of this and that we should be hiding it in the background and that it's
mm,
not a good thing that they got caught and called out. It's a great thing, right? But I'm just flabbergasted at how all of these famous men, okay, will continue on with their shenanigans, seeing that the block is hot. Like everything is hot. Like I just don't understand. I just don't get it. But well, you know what? With Fat Joe, it doesn't surprise me. He looks like a creep. He's always felt like a creep from the very beginning. Big Pun was really the person that was the success out of the two. Unfortunately, he
mm,
died really young.
mm.
And I feel like Fat Joe just stepped into his limelight.
Yeah,
That's what it felt like from day
yeah,
one.
I agree.
Big Pun was the actual act.
I don't think Fat Joe's a good rapper. I don't
Never.
think he definitely has a persona and the character, but I'm just
But I
saying
feel like
that.
he took on Big Pun's persona because
Mm,
Big Pun just if you just go back in time to when Big Pun was here, he even though he was a big boy, like he was a big guy, right? Like
mm,
morbidly obese type of
yeah,
man. But he was the personality. That's why
yeah,
people rocked with him. Okay, that's why
mm,
people look past the fact that the man could barely move or breathe.
mm,
Okay,
yeah.
a lot of people were down with Big Pun. A lot of people love Big
Oh
Pun,
yeah.
and I feel like Fat Joe just came along, saw the opportunity. Well, he's gone now, and he just stepped right into his limelight. That's what
Mm,
it feels like, and he took over his persona. He took over his charisma, and he's just been out here ever since. And if it weren't people like Remy Ma to help keep him relevant, because that's what I also noticed is that, Fat Joe doesn't really have a lot of his own music. He always has a
Yeah.
lot of people on his music.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, and he's successful that way. And I don't know. I think this is disgusting. These accusations,
Hmm.
if they are true, if they're not true. To be honest, I kind of believe them. I kind of do. He's always seemed like that type of man. That's just how I feel about Fat Joe. But hey, we'll see. We'll see what pops off. We'll see what pops off. Right now, the accusations are out there and they're doing damage by themselves. We'll see what's really happening. If
Okay.
this goes away, he paid somebody off, and therefore this is true. If it goes away, that's what I feel. Like, generally speaking, when stories like this just go away out of nowhere, they've paid people off. They've scrubbed the internet. You know what I mean? Like, they did damage control. But
Hmm.
in my mind, it's true.
Mm.
If you don't come out and say this is not true, it's true.
He's already, yeah, he has come out and denied it. I think it was a day or two
Uh,
after.
I don't know. I saw
Mm.
his
It's one of
denying.
it was one of the stronger denials because Tyler Perry. We're going to be talking about Tyler Perry, but,
Okay,
but Tyler Perry even going to need to do a little better than that.
right? We need more, Tyler. We need more. Yes, yes, ma'am. Yeah. Oh, I can't call you, ma'am. You're not Medea today. Anyhow, let me not, because you know what? Right. Anyhow, with Fat Joe, you know what, Mr. Fat Joe, we'll find out. I'm gonna keep my ear to the ground with that one because I kind of believe it's true. I do. I Maybe I'm wrong to say that, but I do. I feel like it's true.
Okay.
We'll find out more
Yeah,
though. We'll see.
we'll find out.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so that's Fat Joe. That's more to come there. So this past week we had the anniversary of the 250 anniversary of the U.S. Army, and we wanted a lot of fanfare. And Trump made it a whole thing. He made it about that was the 25th, 250th anniversary of the U.S. Army. It coincided with Flag Day, and surprise, Trump's 79th birthday.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
It featured tanks, helicopter shows, thousands of troops. I saw a little bit of coverage. There was some minor. Anytime there's a Trump day, there's always going to be some detractors. People who are anti-Trump showing up. So, but they were very quiet because there was a movement. There's a movement called the No Kings movement because
Yep.
there's a fear that's going on right now, and they've been doing protests, but they decided not to protest during this event because they knew, were there was fear that the military or National Guard would be involved, and yeah, without a doubt, that would happen. There would be
Yep.
trouble. It would not be peaceful, so it
Nope.
made sense not to bother.
Don't
I
rock the
definitely saw
boat today. Uh-huh.
no, yeah, and that was the message, right? But I definitely saw some posters and stuff, which is fine. So there were people, but they were quiet. They knew that the orders were probably to, like, anybody who starts something, they're
Right?
gonna f around and find out, as the saying goes this
Yep.
year. So they had tanks. Here's the issue. We know it was all you all can see the footage. It's interesting. Here's the debate. So the estimated cost to bring all those tanks
Can you
and the
imagine?
military and all those things here for this celebration was 250 to 45 million
Can you
in
imagine?
taxpayer money. It's not coming out of Trump's account,
Okay.
or the military's account. Taxpayer money. Intend and
Imagine.
here's the little jokey joke. Is that it I know, I saw the footage myself. The crowds were,
Yep.
I know, Trump, he, in his mind, it was probably a glorious surprise and everybody in the world was there. But really, in reality, if you see footage, there is lots of empty, what do you call those seats, like, those seats in a game, what do you call them when
The
you
bleachers, like the
Yes, there's lots of empty bleachers, lots of empty space in the big. They had a main foreground where they were having where people can congregate and see the stage. A lot of empty space there. So reports of sparse crowds. Many people left early, and despite the White House claims that 250K people showed, it definitely looked like a lot less than
It was a
even
bull faced
200K.
lie. Okay, it's a bull faced lie. There's no way that there was that many. There couldn't have been. There couldn't have
And
been when all these other states
mhm,
have tens of thousands of people on the street protesting. So it's a lie. It's a bull faced lie.
yeah,
Um, Trump threw this also on his birthday. Well, he
which is another debate that came out outside of the money thing. It's like this is supposed to celebrate the veterans, veterans and veteran affairs, which we already know is suffering with the government cuts that Elon
right.
Musk and the Doge agency did. Like they're really suffering. They're already suffering, but they really have had a bad go at it. In the since this administration had come into power. So it's like, okay, we're supposed to say we're celebrating all these the US Army and all the people who have served and protected this country and have a
Right.
whole hoopla, which is fine. I get it. That is one of the powers of the US. Their military is something to be boastful about, to be honest.
Not in
But
that parade. It wasn't.
well,
Okay.
you're right, exactly. So it's like if you're going to do a thing, do a thing, and so that's the debate where some people are saying, like people who are particularly military focused, is like, okay, well, we're celebrating the military. Why are you having this self-serving piece of adding it, holding it on your birthday? Like it could have, you could just did something for your birthday another day.
And
What
the
I don't know
saddest
when
part
Trump's
is
birthday
is
is.
when this is all said and done, when it's all said and done, it's going to cost that particular city another $16 million, okay, to fix what those tanks did to the roads,
Yes, the tanks tore up the roads. Yeah, I saw some photos.
right? And because they're not meant for that, they're not meant to do that type of like showcasing. No, they're meant
Mhm.
for battle. Like I don't even understand why he felt it. Well, I do. He wants to feel important.
Mhm.
And he admires a lot of dictators around the world,
Yep, most notably the North Korean Kim Jong Un. Yep,
exactly, and he
that's what he
wants
was.
to he wants to definitely try to be similar to them or like them. And he
Mhm.
thought that his military was the same, but he
Mm.
doesn't have the same military. And
No,
a
he does
lot of
not.
people that I've seen online that are actual military say that the soldiers were having their own quiet protests within that march, because
Yeah,
when
it
I
was
saw
messy. It
it,
looked messy. It messy as hell.
I was like, that's the US Army? Like, are you kidding
mm,
me? You guys need to
mm.
straighten up. You get
Right?
straighten up and act right up in this, because
Not even looking 20% of a North
not
Korean
not
military.
even remotely. Like they said, you're lucky if we show up, okay? And they showed up, and that was about it. They weren't putting any effort forth. It just seemed like they didn't want to be there. You could tell that they just didn't want to be there. And as a veteran, I understand, like, it's a part of their duty. Like when they sign up to be in the military, they say that we're gonna, whatever our commander in chief says, then that's what we're gonna follow, blindly, right? And I feel like a lot of them are waking up because of being treated so poorly, And it's like, how do you treat me poorly and now want me to come up here and pretend like we're some, big superpower of a place? We're not. They're just not. They're not. And
Mhm.
how I saw the military walking showed you that. It showed you that
Mm.
the loyalty and alliance to the American people is not, or not even the American people, to their commander in chief is not there.
Yes.
It's not there. They didn't want to be there. They didn't want to.
Because
You could tell.
you can't tell me the U.S. military can't do a little lockstep,
Oh,
do their little march.
okay. I was like, where's the lockstep? Because I didn't see none. I was like, what? These men them look like they're just walking down the street together. You understand? Like it
Hmm.
just didn't look military worthy for me.
Hmm.
When I've seen the clips of Korea and their
Oh
army,
yeah, it's
and
crazy.
they look in unison. They look sharp. They look like,
Sharp.
don't you play with us. Like, don't you play with us. We will come for you, And it just,
And
I didn't see
allegedly, I
that.
actually was reading an article where he noticed that he was upset. He wanted to be a show of force, and like our military is don't mess with us, don't mess with America. And he's a commander of chief of this menacing army, and they were out there having a good old funky
Right?
time,
Waving,
and he
smiling.
was pissed.
He was vexed. But I
Mm,
think that was their protest. And to be
that's a
quite
good point.
honest, I would do the same. I would have done the
Mm,
same if I'm expected to, this is what I signed up for when I decided to be in the military. So I'm going to come and I'm going to show up. But yes, I'm going to crack a smile. Yes, I'm going to have some fun. Yes, because it's so embarrassing that they even have to do this for this man.
mm,
Okay? Because he thinks the military is at his disposal, like
that's a
just for
problem.
him, just for
That's a
him, not for the
that's a problem.
country, but for him, right? And
Hmm.
it's sad because these guys took an oath to protect the Constitution, and they're not doing any of the
Mm,
kind. They're not.
the Constitution's in threat right now.
Okay, okay, this is why we're having no kings protests left, right, and damn center. Every flipping state that you could think of was having a protest. Okay, and some of them were getting violent. And
Mm,
in the same breath, Trump was telling the National Guard to go in and take care of protesters. Like, are you kidding me? This is not a communist country. So I
mm,
just don't understand why the communist approach. Like, I just don't get it.
mm.
But I think people are tired of the nonsense. And I couldn't even imagine having to be the military and go to this stupid ass parade while you see this dumbass man that you have to salute.
Mhm.
Are you kidding me? After we had to go fight to keep the country safe. And here he is. I was just saying, I was having a conversation with my mom the other day quickly. And
Yeah.
I was saying, Mom, can you imagine that this man has managed to take down the big old powerful United States in 6 months?
Phew.
He is
And they let
this
it
is a
happen.
not this is a world power, okay? World power for decades. And he
Hmm.
has managed to tear it down in 6 months. That it blows my mind. Every time I think about it, because I mean, America is internationally known as the powerhouse. And look at its demise. Right down to the military walking on the street. They don't look scary. They're not scary. It's not scary. It isn't. What's scary is that you have this commander in chief that is literally breaking your whole flipping country apart in 6 months. And you have to walk down the street and salute this fool? Oh no. Oh no. I'm gonna have to go MIA in the damn military. I'm MIA out of this bitch because I'm not standing up here to salute this fool. Are you kidding
Mm.
me? And on top of that, it was their day. It was their day to
Yeah, it
acknowledge
was
the
supposed to be their
military.
day. Yeah, it was supposed to be their day.
Listen, I would be doing the same damn thing. I feel like there was definitely a quiet protest amongst the
Yeah, that's a
military.
good point.
I do.
Now that you see that, I see some validity there.
Right? Because a lot of people who have been in the army were coming out and they were saying that's not how you're supposed to do that. Like, you
Yeah.
learn how to march within the first week of being in the
Yeah,
military.
that's basic training.
Right?
Yeah.
And so what they were doing, they were sloppy beyond control. I think it had to have been a silent protest because you know they looked horrible. And I think they did that on purpose. Because this is a day to acknowledge them, not to walk down the street to salute this fool. Oh man, that must have hurt their heart, boy.
Yeah.
You put blood, sweat, and tears being in the military. You know what I'm saying? You give up your life, literally. Literally, there's men's them that have give up their life for that country. And to see where it is now, I wouldn't. I'm sorry. You're gonna have to arrest me. I'm not going to the parade. I'm not going. I'm not going. I'm not.
I would love to have a conversation with
Right?
any military folks that are anti-Trump. A lot of them are pro-Trump, but I know obviously we could see there a lot of them are not happy too. So I'd love to have a conversation with one
Right?
of those folks who are not feeling Trump right now.
And they're justfully so. I don't know. I'm just saying, for the military, what I will say to you is I salute you for even in this hardest time of having this commander in chief lead you guys down. You did come out and you did show out and you did try, and I'll give you that much because you're better than me. I would have never.
You
Okay.
had a sick day.
Not yeah, I'm not going that day. Something happened that day. No, I'm not going because it's just an embarrassment. And the parade itself was an embarrassment. That was an
Mhm.
embarrassment.
Mm.
And when you see Trump sitting there with his sour face, like, oh, nobody's, I don't know what he's expecting. I really don't. Like, I think he's so far in delusion,
He's in Delulu land.
right? And nobody can get him at this point. No one can rescue him out of that because he's so far deep down in that, you know. But anyway,
Yeah.
it was really sad to
So
see. It was.
it was definitely interesting. So it'll be interesting to see the continued fallout, because this is definitely going against his platform that he ran on two things. He's anti-war. Trump is supposed to be anti-war, and they're about to go into war with potential war with Iran. That's we didn't talk about that, but hey, we have to acknowledge what's going on in the world right now. It's scary
Yep, it
times.
is.
And as well as wasting taxpayer dollars.
Yep.
You
And they
you're
don't have
making
the dollars. That's what kills
you know the,
me.
they're making cuts in a lot of essential services like education, healthcare, even veteran affairs.
Everything,
if you want to
everything
get
they're gonna
ironic on
cut.
this topic, and then now you're spending 45 million and even additional more money to mash up the people's city
Can
that
you
are going to need repairs,
imagine?
and it's
My
just all
gosh.
for a self-serving reason. But anyway,
Uh,
we'll leave that. This Trump
ugh,
being Trump, but it's more I'm interested in the fallout and the commentary from the public and the taxpayers. So
right?
we'll see what that is, if there is anything.
Yeah,
There's so
people
much
have had enough of
happening.
him. Yeah.
There's so much distraction. Who
Like
knows if
some of
anything will
these,
come of that.
I just want to point out that some of these states are considering bankruptcy. Okay?
Hmm.
Some of these states are considering bankruptcy. They don't have the funding. They're not seeing eye to eye with Trump. A lot of the people within these states are protesting left, right, and center. Like, it's up in flames. And this man wants to have a damn parade for himself. Like, are you kidding me? You are. You have to be kidding me. This is ridiculous. But you know what? They're going to find out. Trump will find out because soon enough, people are going to turn on him. They're starting to slowly turn on him. Even the red states they're
Hmm.
slowly starting to turn on him because this is not what they signed up for. How do you take that amount of money out of the taxpayers, money that they've paid into the system to throw a parade for yourself when there are people who are literally they're losing their jobs. They can't afford to live. They can like left, right, and center. There's industry after industry that's taking a hit because of his stupid ass tariffs. Okay, and you're gonna take the money to go throw yourself a parade? Like, are you kidding me? Yo, if it was me, I'm the first train out of that bitch. I'm gone. I'm gone. I'm leaving the United States. And more people are going to leave the United States because this is ridiculous. Like, people are struggling, and you have the nerve, whatever they have left for their city, to go and take that money out of the taxes to throw yourself a parade? Get out of here with that. Like, honestly. But he
Yeah.
going to find out soon. He going to find out.
Hmm.
That same
Hmm.
military might just turn on him. So, he just better be careful.
That would be a story to talk about. But
Right?
so we're gonna move on to a good news story. It's bittersweet, but I think that the ending was better. It was more positive than it could have been. So anyway, we are up in Canada, in Ontario, and we are right beside another province called Quebec. And
Yep.
so recently, there was a big story about a missing 3-year-old
Can you
from
imagine?
Montreal. She was a missing three year old from Montreal, who
Poor
was missing
baby.
for about 3 days, and so there was a big news covering the hunt for this little girl. And in the looking on highways and forests, across our two provinces of Ontario and Quebec, and the little girl was found on the third day along the highway in Ontario.
Jeez, on.
And one of the things that, and I'm just thinking is that I didn't really follow. I'm just like, okay, I don't know what's happening here, but they found the little girl that was missing. That's all. But so when I finally was like, okay, everybody's talking about this. This is a
Right?
miracle. Let me go see what's going on with this story. When I finally read the story, I was so disheartened to find
Wow.
that when they found this little girl, she told the officer who found her that she was waiting for her mommy. Her mommy told her to wait there.
Wow.
And so this little girl was abandoned in a
Jeez,
forest,
on.
or in a forest area somewhere, abandoned in some area where of course she'd be lost and probably be hungry. I don't think there was any, I didn't hear of any food being left with her, because one of the miracles people are saying is that the fact that she didn't have water or food for 2 to 3 days and still was found okay, um, is a miracle.
God
And
blessing. It's
so
a
we talked
blessing.
about angels in our last episode with
What?
that man, one man from that Air India, the crash in India.
Right?
And so this little girl definitely had a little angel, because that's one thing the medical professionals keep on saying is that 2 days without water is lethal for an adult, more or less a
Right?
child. And the child
Exactly.
is young, as a toddler, not even, I wouldn't call, I would say they still have, a toddler, barely past baby stage, 3 years
Jesus.
old. And so the mother now faces charges of unlawful abandonment, which to me, I'm
That's
sorry,
not enough as far as
it's
I'm
not
concerned.
enough. I'm reading up on this. It's saying that it's a maximum of um 5 years here in
You're
Canada.
kidding
Canada,
me.
we're notorious for having very lax laws, I'd say, here in Canada, but
Ugh.
this woman needs to be in jail for at least 10 years. I'm sorry. This is hideous. This is like,
I would be throwing everything and the book at her. Everything. Everything and anything that could stick, I'd be throwing it at her. This is neglect, endangerment, anything I could throw at her. I would almost aim for a attempted murder. I
mm,
would. She's 3. You don't drop off a 3-year-old in the bush of Canada, okay? Listen, just across the street. I'm not even in the bush, okay? I'm over here in having a little ravine, and I see all sorts of animals come out of that place. Okay, you understand what I'm
yeah,
saying?
that's just true. There could be coyotes, or it could
Okay,
be,
foxes. I see foxes often. I see all sorts of things coming out of the dam, and I'm in a residential area. You drove this poor baby to the bush and dropped her off in the bush? Are you kidding
mm,
me? Do you know what's out in the bush? Yeah, here in Ontario, we have mountain lions. Yeah, we do. Yeah, what you mean? Like, the attempted murder, I've been putting everything I could on her. Everything I could on her.
mm, mm.
Now, the okay, the feel good part of this is that the baby is fine and she made it out
Yeah, yeah,
alive,
yeah.
maybe a little hungry and tired and
Mm-hmm.
thirsty, but she made
Mm-hmm.
it out alive.
And she was
God was
conscious.
watching over that baby. He
Mm-hmm.
sent all of his angels to watch over that child. The child was even smart enough at the age of 3 to say, I need to make my way closer to where I could be
The
seen.
road, the cars,
Where
yeah.
I could be seen,
Mm-hmm.
right? Okay, now we just need to talk about in terms of the environment here in Canada, and the reason why I want to emphasize that
Mm-hmm.
is it can't be nothing but God that watched that child. Nothing
Mm-hmm.
but God. There are places here in Ontario that are still very undeveloped,
Yes.
okay? Like super
Mm-hmm.
undeveloped and very, woody, like I said,
Yes.
different animal wildlife out there that could hurt this child. Where did she sleep? Because you know the baby got tired,
Yes.
right?
Yeah. She's yeah.
Where did you sleep in the wilderness? The fact that, a lot of our highways, right? It goes through real boony type towns, real boony
Mm-hmm.
type areas, right? Where it's heavily, dense foresty areas. The
Mm-hmm.
fact that this baby made it to the road,
Mm-hmm.
if that ain't God, I don't know what is. Okay. And I'm so grateful that that child was found. And I'm so thankful that, this mother has been caught and has been throw away the key. She should be underneath the jail. Okay. She shouldn't be coming out in no 5 years. Okay. This is disgusting. But what I will say is she'll never see her child again. Because
No.
Canada, we don't play when it comes to our kids. We don't play when it comes to our kids. I know that personally. I know many people who have worked within the, social workers and the social system. She's never going to see that baby again. She will never
Mm-hmm.
be able to take care of that child again. It's over. It's a wrap. It's a done deal. That poor baby, you are blessed, little girl. And I hope when you grow older and you learn this story that you understand that the fact that you were put out into like you were an animal of some kind, like
Mm.
she was setting you loose.
Yeah.
That's what you do with animals. Stray animals that you pick up on the road, you take them out to the forest and you let them loose. She's a baby. I
I
couldn't
would
believe
even.
it when I looked
I
more
hate
into
to say it.
this.
It would be one step further. She really set the child out to die because this is
She
a
did.
3-year-old. This is a 3-year-old. They never really would have stand a
That's
chance
why I
by
say
themselves.
attempted murder. That's attempted
Mm-hmm.
murder.
Mm.
You put a 3-year-old child out into the wilderness of Ontario? Are you kidding me? I'm a grown ass woman and I don't want to go out to the
No,
wilderness of
right?
Ontario. Okay.
Right.
I remember when we remember the couple of times I drove with you from Windsor. And
Mm-hmm.
listen, we were like, make sure you have the gas. You understand? We have to make sure we top
We're
up
not
that gas.
stopping. We're not stopping.
We
We're
ain't
just
stopping
going.
no parts in here. Okay. If you got to go to the washroom, you need to wait. Okay. We ain't stopping. So there are parts of Ontario I'm just thinking as an adult, I wouldn't know what to do with myself. Okay. And this could be a bit, Lord God.
Mm-hmm.
Listen, that woman needs to be underneath the jail. We need to protest to keep her ass in jail longer than 5 years. Okay. This is ridiculous. I hope she never
Well,
gets a chance to see that child again because you dropped
yeah.
her off like yesterday's trash in the middle of the damn forest of Ontario. Okay, where it gets cold at night.
So reported so this is essentially before we move on. So there's a lot of gaps in the story, but essentially the mother, and of course the mother is the person who reported her missing. So she goes to
Yeah, but
a
that wasn't
business,
that she was doing that to just
cover her tracks,
counteract,
but she
cover her
didn't this is
tracks.
how you know she's not in her right of mind,
Uh-huh.
because she had told police. So you report your child missing, you're the mother of the child, and you tell police that you have no recollection of your previous 6 hours or the
God.
toddler's whereabouts. So that's to tell you she was already acting kooky. Like she, like, you know what I mean, and they're already bringing the mental health thing, and obviously you're crazy, but that does still doesn't matter. You almost killed her child, so that to me is not enough. But we'll see what happens. Will
Definitely. I
her
will be
court date
watching for
is,
that because honestly, this she needs to be underneath the jail. That's the only way I'll be
yeah.
satisfied with that. So,
Her
but you
court
know what?
date
I'm
is
sorry.
next month.
I
Mhm,
understand people have mental illness, right? But
mhm,
more and more and more, I'm feeling like people commit crimes and fall back on the mental illness thing.
mhm,
I think it was very like if I were a prosecutor right now, okay, in the
mhm,
court of law, I would say there was very much mens rea here. You had
mhm,
all the intention to do this. While
mhm.
you strapped the child into a car seat, turned on a vehicle, drove into a forest off road, okay? That's intent. That's intent. Don't tell me, oh, your mental state. No, that was intentional. I'm sorry. I just don't like when people do things like this and they want to fall back on, oh, my mental, my mental. No, sorry. No, I don't believe that. I think you were all in your right mind to take that child into a. You have to drive off road. Like, what you mean? Huh? It don't make no sense. Sorry. No.
Mm-hmm.
This is where I feel like our judicial system in Canada sucks. Like, we're because they'll give her more slack now, or they'll let her get away with the mental illness. And no, I'm sorry. There has to be consequences to this, because if you have that much of a mental illness where you're going to put these children in harm's way, then I'm sorry, you need to be sterilized. You can't have no more
Mm-hmm.
children.
There you go.
Period. Like,
Yeah.
okay, you can't
In
have no
this
more
case,
kids.
in this story, yeah, there's a case for that.
You know,
um
but yeah.
yeah, so we'll see what happens there. So that's it for our headlines. We'll jump into our one and only music news topic, which is our girl. It's your girl, Miss Keke Palmer.
Yes, Kiki.
She was on the Breakfast Club this week promoting her new album, Just Kiki. She's been doing the rounds on the news, the morning
Right.
shows, and the podcasts, and the likes of promoting this album, Just Kiki. And we were debating. I don't know how to feel about this. I mean, I did do a quick listen. I did a quick run through. A quick
Right.
run through means I'm going through really quickly through the tracks and only stopping if it grabs my attention within the first
Right.
20 seconds. So, I was saying that I was saying to Kim when we were talking about the show, I'm not sure how I feel. I
Mm-hmm.
know she's dabbled in music, just like Zendaya has dabbled
Mm-hmm.
in music, but these
Yeah.
young ladies are both known for being very good actresses.
Right.
Child actresses at that, but
Right.
still, as adults, very good actresses and good at what they do. So I don't understand the music thing. Yes, we always hear about multi hyphenates, and again, sometimes that naturally happens. I think
Yeah.
there's a natural way for that to happen. Like Queen Latifah is a big one. Brandy is one of them. There's a few multi hyphenates where it just naturally happened. Will Smith, like it can happen naturally and organically, and I just feel like with Kiki, it's I don't know because she's had an album. She had an album deal, record deal when she was about 13, 14.
Yeah.
And so she talked about that on the Breakfast Club and that journey and how it was difficult. So I believe this album she's done independently, which good on her. And so anyway, let's get to the music. And like I said, what I didn't remember, and because her music is not memorable to me, I'm not being shady. It's just not like there's just so much. It's hard for anybody's
And
music to be
this is not
memorable.
her first album.
It's not. No, that's what I'm saying. So I can't remember any. I know she's done
Me
stuff, but
neither. You're not alone.
I can't remember what it is. But anyway, I took a quick look. Okay. So basically, I'm beating around the bush to say is like there's a lot of auto tuning and stuff. Like as somebody who produces vocals, like I do all the production, audio production on this podcast. I know when you put sauce on somebody's vocals, and
Right.
there's a lot of sauce on these vocals. So basically, I'm like, damn, Kiki is not even a good singer.
Right.
I'm not even trying to shade. I'm just saying. I want to like it, but I do. I'll say what. Here's what I do like. It does sound good. I think it's she said it's a dedication to her son, Leo. And she wants to address she addresses that all the drama that she's faced in the last year or so with her ex-boyfriend and her child's father. It was very public. And I do think you have such a public there's just so much going on there that was public that she might have been ashamed about or felt like people are trying to put her down or whatever you want to put on. And it's true that did happen, and she does acknowledge it. I think it's as a work of art that reflects her life. It's very good. Let me say
Right.
that. Two, there are some very good songs. There's about 5 songs in here that I think are very very good.
Okay.
And I love the concept of like the act. So she has references, pop culture references that are personal to her story. And because we follow her and we know her and she's so transparent with her life, for somebody who knows her very well,
Right.
um, I connected with it. So she has
Okay.
references to Moesha, and there's a
Okay.
style of there's an intro that she does with Moesha, like a Moesha style, and you hear the music, and that's
Right.
her reference to her as a child actress and writing a diary of what her personal things that she's been going through. There's
Right.
references to the confession song that we already heard about. The sample from Confessions where she's talking about the drama that happened with Usher and a boyfriend being weird
Right.
and everything, right? And so we've heard that song. There's that. There's references to Sex in the City, Aquila and the Bee. There's a called Keke and the Bee. It's really, I would say, packaged and put together very brilliantly.
Okay.
And there are songs. A big song for me, the big songs for me is Exposed, and that's the video. There's a reference to Whitney in there, which I do think is also relevant to her. That it's not it's the song it's not me. What is it? The song where she's like it's not that, but it's alright, something like that. There's a
Mm.
song Messy called Whitney has, and it's an iconic video. Rodney Darkchild
Oh,
produced that song for
yeah, I
Whitney.
think I know which one you're talking
You
about.
know the one
Yeah.
I'm talking
Yeah,
about,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
And the piano, she's like,
Right.
yeah. So anyway, she did the video for Exposed is referencing that, and Exposed is a good song. My Confession is a good song. Um, Misunderstood. So there's actually some good songs. It's very personal. I think, let me just put it this way, it's worth a listen. Do I think Keke should continue pumping out
Right?
albums? No, I want her to get in her bag of being a great actress. I want her to, she's a good personality. She does very well for herself, her podcasts,
Yeah.
her shows, but I want her to do more movies.
Yeah,
I
me
personally
too.
want her to do more movies. I know she has a child and maybe she's trying to figure that out, but I would love to see her doing more movies. She's so
I
hilarious.
think so. I think she's a great actress. I haven't taken a listen to her album. I will now that you've
Yeah, I
pre-listened
could. I
and
was like, I pre-listened. This is. I wanted to let you know. I was like, you know what? It's worth a listen. Let's put it that
okay,
way.
because you know what? I've never really liked Kiki as a singer. I'm
Mm-hmm.
sorry, I don't see Kiki as a singer. I just
Mm-hmm.
don't. I know that she can hold a note. I know she
Mm.
can sing. I know that. However, I don't know if she can sing. You
No,
know,
I can confirm. I
right?
can
And
definitely. I
so,
can.
and a
There's too
lot of
much sauce on the vocals for her
right,
to. Because
okay,
if she could sing, they wouldn't need to do all that.
right. So, and from what I have heard of Kiki in the past, because I've tried to give her a listen before in the past, she just doesn't. I don't know. There isn't enough for me. I
Yeah.
just don't feel like that's like I was saying to you yesterday. I feel like there's every creative person out there that they're triple threat, but there's always their key, like they've mastered or they're really good at something. And I
Yes.
think
Exactly.
Kiki is acting. That's what she's really good at. Maybe I'm biased because, like you said, that's how I was introduced to her.
Mhm.
The singing is like, I don't know, Kiki. I'll
We don't need it. We
listen,
don't.
but I don't
Mm.
know. I'm even on the side where I don't even know if I want to listen because it's like Kiki, I'm not feeling it, girl. I'm not. But I'll give it a shot only because it's Kiki, and I think
It's
that
worth a scan through.
right her
And one thing I didn't mention that I will call it is that it is very much her, in that there's also references of, like, she's known, there's some sings and stuff that she's known for. So it's so funny because it's music, but it's also like a little show. Like,
right
so there's this interesting thing she did there, which again it fits with who she is. And so again, I would say it's packaged and put together very smartly,
right,
which that in itself is worth a gander.
and I think the reason why she hasn't really excelled in this area is because I think people just they want to see her doing what they she does the best, and
Mhm,
music is
mhm,
just not it. Sorry,
mhm,
Kiki. I love you, girl. I'll take a listen. I don't know if I'll bump that, but I'll take a listen. I don't know if I'm
mhm,
gonna put that on in my car. I don't know about that, but I'll take a listen just because you're
mhm.
Kiki, and that's the only reason why I think people entertain her. Period. In this music realm is because she is Kiki, and we all know her as Hollywood's or Black Hollywood sweetheart, and so I don't know. But one thing I will say about Kiki: stop losing the weight, girl. Girl,
Yeah, she is.
I need you to have a little curves. I need you to. I don't know. You're looking like a 12-year-old boy as of late. I didn't like, I think she was at was it the Met Gala? She was at
Yeah.
an award show the other day, and I just didn't. She didn't fill out the dress right. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
I'm not saying she shouldn't be healthy. Healthy does not
No,
equivalent
she's
to.
looking because she was never really big, right?
No,
So,
she's
but she's
always been a
definitely,
slim,
listen.
petite
We're gonna have
figure.
to say Ozempic is running rampant right now.
What? They're eating
For
it like
all
candy up there,
for
B.
people of all sizes. And so basically what Kimmy, I'm thinking you're saying is, girl, get off that Ozempic.
Yes, please. It is eating you away, girl. Her chest looked like really like bony, and I don't like that. I don't think that looks healthy for Kiki. She's a
Mhm.
small girl, but she also like she has long limbs, and I just didn't girl, just come
She
off the
doesn't, she's
Ozempic.
gotten too skinny. Let's just put it that
Yeah,
way.
it's anorexic looking. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? Like it's
it's
sickly
not looking
looking at
healthy.
this point.
Yeah.
Like there's a fine line, right? And it's very easy
Mm-hmm.
for people to cross over,
Yes, it's easy,
right?
especially in this day and age. Yeah.
Right? Too much Ozempic on the brain. I just can't. They need to put it down because you're looking like you're sickly, not like you're, you know, well, she doesn't even look muscular, right? And she used to
Mm.
look not muscular in a bad way, but she looked toned. You know,
Yeah.
now she don't look toned. There's nothing to tone. The other day I saw her and I was like, girl, what happened to you? All your femininity is just disintegrating. And I don't know if anybody else has noticed this. I know I'm going off into a tangent.
No, go
But
ahead.
has anybody else noticed this that when women specifically lose too much weight, they look old?
Yeah, because your face gets sunken in like a woman who's a more mature woman. Because okay, so here's a good example. Because if we're talking about faces, we were going on a little rant with K Michelle. We still need to talk about
Yes,
K Michelle
yes.
on Cam Newton's show, but that's another
Because I
episode.
don't know what was
But there's this
happening.
new popular surgery outside of the Ozempic. A lot of the white actresses are doing this thing called buccal fat remover. And Anya Taylor Joy, and there's some other people who've clearly done it, but she's the most obvious to me. Is where they take out the fat out of your cheeks. So if you say even as skinny as you're, sometimes you just have a
Yeah,
rounder face, right? It's just and that's the natural fat in your cheeks. Genetically, how much you have is genetic based. Because we've seen
right,
people who are very, very skinny, but you're like, wow, your face doesn't match your body. But that's
right.
just their natural. Their No matter what you do with your body, that's your face. Those are your genetics. So now the surgery is they remove that little fat. It's a little fat pocket in your cheeks, and then it brings them in. But the problem with that is that fat pocket decreases as you get older. So to your point, where people look older is that's why, because women, particularly women, when we get older, like we get into that menopausal
Yeah,
stage, like you pass, you just post menopausal, that fat starts to shrink and your cheeks go in naturally. So can you imagine if you do that surgery at 30 years old and
no.
that fat is still going to
Mm,
decrease? Can you imagine what
mm.
that girl's going to look like when she's in her
Right?
50s? She's going to be plumping up. She's going to be pumping things in her face to compensate for that for that those sunken. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? So it's a crazy business. But anyway, yeah, it's a crazy
Yes.
world. Crazy
I
world.
just noticed that yeah, weight loss, is good. It's a good thing. Like, don't get me wrong. However, I think there has to be a limit. Like, there has to be a stop point because some of these ladies, they're looking old. Like, Kiki
Mm.
has been looking older as of late. And I'm
It's
like,
because yes, her face is so
girl,
skinny.
girl, yeah, Kiki, we need to watch that part. But maybe I'll take a listen to your music. I don't know, girl.
You don't know. See
I
if you
don't know.
feel
I'm
like
gonna
it.
try.
It's worth a scan. Like you don't
Only
have to
because
do.
she's bringing up those nostalgic moments, like
Yes,
Moesha and things like that. Like,
yes, it's very
I'll
cute.
take a listen just for that. You know. But I guess we'll move on.
Yes, let's move on into our first segment, which is Lord of Mercy.
Lord have mercy, Jesus.
Oh Lord have mercy, mercy, mercy. Oh Lord have mercy, mercy, mercy.
We haven't had one of these in a while, but
Right?
we got a big bombshell this week
D-
with our
okay.
boy Tyler Perry. So our this segment, Lot of Mercies, where we look at stories and read things that's going on in the world, and it makes you say Lot of Mercy. That's the only response there is to the
Yes.
situation. Lord, take the wheel, kind of
Please.
news. And so this is where we're at with Tyler Perry, because it's also a double entendre, because Tyler Perry is a faith based
Right?
entertainer and roots a lot of his work in Christianity, and he hasn't been acting very Christian.
No, he forgot about his Christianity. He sure did. He put that on the back porch someplace because I don't know what he's going on with Tyler.
So this week, it was uh released, I guess. There was a lawsuit and text messages, and now it's so funny. Like, we're talking about Fat Joe, Diddy, all this nonsense. Like, I'm almost tired. Like, I hate to say it,
Right?
I don't want to hear anymore. I can't
Oh,
take anymore. I cannot take anymore.
golly.
Not because I care about any, like, Tyler Perry or any of these people, these men, because they're the men behaving badly. They need to pay for what they've done. But I
Period.
can't
Hmm.
handle it. It's just like, it's ridiculous, because it's really tiring, because it's like these men have been doing this for years.
Years.
It's just an issue now. But for somebody to get this comfortable with certain this pattern of behavior,
Right?
you've been doing it. You've done this before, my guy.
Been doing it. Been.
And so, to the story that happened this week. So, actor Derek Dixon, he is an actor on one of Tyler Perry's show called The Oval. He is suing Tyler Perry for 260 million. 260 million. Do you know how much money
Come
260 million
on.
dollars is? Like, that is, even a big successful, like, corporation owner isn't even racking in that kind of money.
If
200, I
Cassie
know,
couldn't get that type of money,
206 with a video evidence. Come on
okay,
now.
stop.
And it's not like, I'm not, listen, I don't want to grade assaults or
No,
crimes,
I
but
don't.
what he's accusing Tyler Perry of is not. I'm just gonna say it. He can't put a price on this stuff, but it ain't worth no 260 million. There's too much gray area in this
But
in this
they're putting a
lawsuit.
price on it. They're
No,
not
they did.
pursuing
So,
him criminally. They're pursuing him civilly. They want
well, you're
money
right.
from
I get
him.
you. They're putting a price on the act themselves.
So
So,
we gonna put a
okay. So
price
then,
on
if
it.
that since they started putting a price on something, listen, ain't 260 million of
Okay.
nothing going on in this allegation, in this lawsuit,
Oh,
as far as I'm concerned. Okay, the man didn't go all, you know what I mean. Anyway,
he didn't go.
so
Yeah, I get you.
you
Yeah,
weren't, we weren't R-worded and all, any of that stuff, right? So, regardless, not that any of that needs to happen, or it's ridiculous either way, but you know what I'm saying. I'm
yeah,
just
I
saying
know.
260 million is very egregious. I know he's a billionaire, but come on, like, do you want the money or not? Because at least go for a little piece of 50 where you could get something close to that. You know what I mean?
Right?
260 million.
I don't know what this man is thinking. I don't know if you see that Tyler Perry is a billionaire, so you're aiming high in order to land on what you
Yes,
want.
that's where the lawyers are. That's how the lawyers are probably thinking. Yeah.
But 200 and odd million, no, mm-mm. Because
Right? That's
and the
that's the
thing is,
amount of money.
and the sad part is that a lot of these victims have to understand that when once it goes public,
Mhm.
once people hear about this, that money that you're asking for has to drop because the
Mhm.
whole initiative, like the whole point for you to get this from them is to prevent the public from knowing about it, right?
Exactly. So they probably went to him. He knew this was coming down. They probably went to him and asked for some money. And Tyler said, "We already know how Tyler stays." Tyler said, "Hell no."
Hell to the nose.
And here we are today.
And so
So
therefore you
anyway,
still can't ask for 200 million or
yeah, it's like
260
it's
million. That's nuts. That's crazy. There's
yeah.
no there's what would entice him to want to give you that
Why
money,
would he give you that at this point? You've gone
right?
public already, so yeah, it's kind of a counterintuitive. But so Dixon claims, so the actor that's suing Perry claims that he used his influence to offer career advancement, like a role on the Oval
Uh-huh.
and producing his pilot, in exchange for sexual favors, and retaliated when advances were rejected. So I'm gonna stop there. Question for you: did you see any of the text messages? I
I
saw some of
sure
the text
did.
messages.
I sure saw
Okay.
some of them, and I felt like this guy was kind of baiting him a bit. He was
Just a bit, just a
just a little bit, but that's the thing is on he kept him going just enough.
little.
So he
Mm-hmm.
he
Mm-hmm.
like he he allowed Tyler to continue, and it's almost
Mm-hmm.
at times he almost encouraged
Right.
him to pursue, like
And how
to
he and
keep pursuing him, right?
exactly, and how he kind of tries to gloss that over in the lawsuit is to say, I had fear of retaliation.
Bro,
I didn't want him to take away the opportunities that he presented me with. But I'm sorry. If you there's no clear, how they say no is no when we talk about
yeah,
harassment with women and in particular, but this against anybody really. You didn't say that clear
nope.
NO. And that's the problem I have.
And
You're
I
gonna
read
have to
those texts.
you need to show clear evidence of you saying, can you not text me like these, like, can you not text me this stuff? I feel like this is going over the boundaries, like something. Like, no, you made these snide comments. It was kind of, I hate to say it, it was kind of embarrassing, like, because Tyler
The,
was thirsty as hell over this
Tyler
man.
couldn't see
It was
past the
crazy.
thirst. He couldn't see past the thirst. You were being baited. You were definitely being baited. There was a point where the guy, he had made a comment, and he's like, something, I'll do anything if I get a Grammy or something like
Mm-hmm.
that. He made a comment towards, he'll do anything for a Grammy, or if he gets a
Mm-hmm.
Grammy, then he'll do
Mm-hmm.
anything or something like that. And
Mm-hmm.
I'm paraphrasing. And it
Yeah.
was like, wait, and then he's like, oh, I'm just joking. Da, 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 da. And I was like, no, 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 no. You know he's thirsty,
Mm-hmm.
and you're trying to set yourself up for him to put you in a role that would get you a Grammy, and therefore
Mm.
it would be okay for him to sleep with you. Like,
Mm.
miss me with it. He was being very sly. He was being very
Mm.
tactful. He was definitely allowing the thirst to just thirst away.
Yeah.
He was feeding into the thirst, 100%.
Mm-hmm. 100%.
And if I were in court and I was this guy's lawyer, I'd say, listen, okay, we're gonna aim high, but
Mm-hmm.
you're lucky if you walk away with 5 mil. You're lucky, okay?
Yeah.
You're lucky if
Yeah.
you walk away with 5 mil, and it's only because Tyler doesn't want this to proceed, and he wants to cut this dry and do damage control, and just wants it to go away. But he's not going to give you anywhere near 200 million of nothing. Okay, I think you are delusional to think that he would. Second of all, I don't think you have lawyers that you could pay that are strong enough to come up against the machine that is Tyler Perry. Because at this point, he's a machine. He has his own production. He has his own studio. The type of
Mhm.
lawyers that he can
Oh yeah.
pay,
Yeah, this guy's
right?
gonna be completely dismantled.
Yes, and to be quite honest, I think Tyler is going to come at you full force. He's going to come at you. And I think the reason why is because he has to put all this shit to bed. Like, people are going to start targeting Tyler Perry. They're going to start
Mhm.
coming after him,
Yeah, once you have one, yeah, you're right.
right?
That's
So
just
he
open the
has to nip this in
floodgates.
the bud
He has to
because,
pull a Jay Z.
right? Christian, what was his name? Christian, the other guy that was making the
Christian
accusation.
Keys. Christian
Christian
Keys.
Keys. Now, Christian was smart because Christian never said nay or yay. He didn't say up, down, but he
Mm.
dropped enough hints that were just enough for people to say, Tyler, a
Mm.
lie. And that's all it needed to be. And have we heard anything from Mr. Keys since? No.
Mm.
No, we haven't.
I think
So,
Mr. Keys got what he wanted.
oh, sure, he sure did. He sure
Mm-hmm.
did. And so this guy right here, you have to really wonder, like, in a court of law, he made a lot of mistakes. He made a lot of
Mm.
mistakes. He should have allowed Tyler Perry to pursue him and to pursue him only. He should have made it very clear. I you didn't have to wonder about this. I do not like men. Period.
Mm-hmm.
But you never did that, right? You led him on to believe that maybe you did or maybe you didn't. It's not clear. And so he kept pursuing you. Now, if you were
Mm-hmm.
clear and after that point he continued to pursue you, then going into court and asking for 200 million wouldn't be outlandish. But because you didn't do that, you fed into the nonsense. You did. I read them. I read them texts, as disgusting as they were, as thirsty as they
It was
were.
embarrassing, cringy.
Very much so. I was like, really, Tyler? Really? Like all the mans them out there, you had to go after this one? Really?
Mm,
Okay, well, hey, I mean, if Tyler's gay, that's no problem. I don't.
that's not the issue
Nobody
here.
cares
No.
about that. But I
Mhm.
think that's what he cares about.
That he cares
I
about
think
that.
he
Yes.
Tyler cares about that, right?
Hmm.
But it's not. He's not going to care to the tune of 260 million. He's not going to care that
Hmm.
much. Okay, and it could definitely be seen in the court of law that you definitely led him to at least continue, pursuing you. You did allow him to continue to pursue you. A lot of the texts that I saw, I was like, you're so bait. Like you could tell you're baiting yourself to get more and more evidence. How do you have a full video? How did we get to that point? Like how did we get to that point, right? So you
Hmm.
had to have been giving Tyler enough where he thought, oh, I just need to pursue him a little harder and a little harder
Yeah.
and a little
Yeah. He's
harder.
playing. Yeah. It's a game. It's a chase.
It
It's
was
this. Yeah.
definitely, it definitely
Hmm.
was, and you were allowing it. And I think those texts started to look like he might have wanted to. He might have wanted to. That
It
he was
was definitely not
considering it.
clear he wasn't into the situation.
Yeah, he seemed like he was considering it at some points, especially the point that I'm talking about where he said, if I get a Grammy, then maybe, or I'll do anything for a Grammy or something like that. And I was like, huh, that's very interesting. That's very interesting
Mm.
that you made those comments. And you laughed it off and you pretended like you were joking. But I don't know. Were you? Because this is
You
a
know
lot of conversation going back and
what's
forth.
crazy is this always goes back to Cat Williams, eh? So
Okay.
we go back to Cat Williams. What did Cat this Williams say?
Okay.
A lot of big D derelicts.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
They'll come to light. They're
and
gonna
this
come
is
to
this
light.
is this is out here, and this is just one man who decided to say, hey, I'm gonna go all in and just expose this shit. But I think that it just tells you what's really going on behind closed doors and how some people are getting on.
Right? And you would have
Yeah, so
never
it was an
I would
eye
have
opener.
never thought that Tyler would go that route. I
Yeah.
thought that,
I
maybe Tyler was gay, and I'm okay with
Yeah.
that. I don't care about none of that, right?
Hmm.
However, I never thought that he would pursue people like this
Like
because
be
this
so
is
just yeah.
thirsty,
And using your power to kind of like win them over and that too.
right?
The
Because
power
he did give
imbalance
him
is
a
what's
role, funny enough.
yeah, he did.
And
He
and
did.
the role, it is a good role for, an up and coming actor.
Yeah, he was on he was a series regular. He was on for 6 seasons. That's a good look for him.
Uh, right?
As an aspiring actor, that is a very good look for him.
Right? And so it's just funny that now that show is done and now all of a sudden we have all these issues. So I
Interesting.
just, but hey, hey, Tyler, okay, you were able to escape Christian Keys calling you out, okay, but not calling you out. You're able to escape that, right? Now this guy has hardcore evidence on you, right? And he definitely will walk away with a pretty penny. Like we're not even
Hmm.
gonna front that he won't. He will walk away with it. It won't be nowhere near 260 million.
No, but he'll get some.
He'll get
Well,
something.
we'll see. Well, it depends. We have to see what his Tyler's lawyers put together. We have to see
But
the
I see
countersuit.
Tyler wanting to get this like wrapped up real quick. Because
I mean,
how that Christian Keys situation moved, it was like there was
but to your
big.
point, all the leverage on the point of
It's
him
true.
wanting to do this, it's already out there. They're
It's
embarrassing
true.
text messages, the allegations. I've read some of them. It's pretty it's like it's just it's really bad.
It's bad.
So it's like it's out there. So at this point, it's like if you and you, I'm assuming again that he let it come out there because he didn't want to agree to give him money in behind closed doors. So this is where we're at, and so it'll be. So I would like to see. To your point, maybe he does give the money because he did sexually harass this man without
Exactly.
a
And
doubt.
and
But
Tyler likes to clean up. He likes to
Okay,
clean
yeah,
up,
that's a good point. That's a good
and
point.
so
So because he
mhm.
did actually harass him, I don't think he can cop to the sexual assault because that's criminal.
Right.
But because he did harass him, he might
He's gonna
part
give him
with
a
some
little
dollars.
change. He's gonna give him,
Yeah, just to
maybe
keep
a
him
couple
quiet.
million, maybe five. That's what I'm thinking.
Mm,
5 million,
just to keep him quiet and
and to
satisfied.
be done with this, right?
Mm-hmm,
Because yes, it's out there. It's out there,
mm-hmm,
right? And so usually the price will drop because it's
mm-hmm,
out there.
mm-hmm.
However, if we continue, because of how our society is, we like quick news, right?
Yep.
So we hear this now, and maybe a few weeks from now, we're on to something else, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
However,
That
if this
sounds.
is still going on a week from now, or 2 weeks from now, or 3 weeks from now, then we can't get on from it, right? We won't get on
Mm-hmm,
from it. So, like, look at Diddy. This has been going on since January, really.
mm-hmm.
Okay, and steady, steady. You just can't get Diddy off your head, off your brain,
Nope. If you don't want to see it, it's there.
right? It's there. It's in your face. So Tyler is like, okay, well, it's out there, but I need to do damage control now so that a couple weeks from now, people will this will die down. People will be on to something new. They'll kind of forget about this. I deal with it in the side piece, and then slowly start to recoup. Maybe start going on, different podcasts or TV shows or whatever. You know, uh, Damage control. He'll have to come out that he is homosexual or that he's bisexual or whatever the case
Yeah.
might be. I
Mm-hmm.
can see the whole damage control parade, but
Yeah, that's
that
gonna
can't
roll out.
start until this dies down. So
I hear
that's
you.
where I can see him putting out some money because he wants this to die down already, right?
Mm-hmm.
But so he could do his damage control. But either which way, I think Tyler Perry is going to be just fine, him and his billions. But what
Oh
is
yeah.
sad is that Tyler Perry's out here doing all these things,
Mm-hmm.
and under the guise of being a Christian man. Like, this is not Christian, like, at all. Hey, if that's your sexual preference, I'm not here to stop you to do that. It's how you're going about it. You are definitely using power to get what you want, and
Mm-hmm.
that is not Christian, like, at all, at all.
Mm-hmm.
So, hey, Tyler,
So
I hope you put together your money. Okay, put together your little money for your claims that people have out here, because I don't
there's
think he's
more.
going to
This
be the only one.
the floodgates just opened. Yeah.
Just open, and I think Christian Keys was the one that started. He was the dog whistle on this whole thing because he never really said, but he gave enough where you could conclude who he was talking about. And then now
Mm-hmm.
this guy has evidence. He was able to record video and text messages. Another thing, all these people out here, can he not be the last cautionary tale? I like
I don't think
Tyler
so.
Perry needs to be the last cautionary tale. Okay? He needs to be the last. Like, at this point, everybody in Hollywood, in terms of men, black men, they're coming after you. They're coming after you. You understand? So, anyways, what's done in the dark will always come to the light. And so, Tyler,
Mm-hmm.
the light is being shined upon you. Okay? And so we're gonna move on, though, because Tyler's gonna be just fine. He's gonna have to deal with this. And stop with the thirstiness, Tyler, please. It makes you look really bad. It makes you look real bad, bro. Like, honestly, it's disgusting. Anyhow, let's move on into our final segment, which is the workout.
The workout.
Yes. So this is where, we actually take the time and we work out by our deep dive discussions on things that are affecting us in our culture, in our impacting us. And so one thing that we have started many years ago was our segment of Wild Black. If you go back, and I suggest to all the listeners, take a trip down memory lane and listen to some of our episodes where we have talked about different issues, different topics while black. And so this time around, we are discussing summer while black. Now, we're going to talk about summer while black from a different aspects, things that, as a person of color, what you like to do, what's great
Mm-hmm.
about the summer, just reflection on the summertime and, past summers and stuff like that. And so I'm going to start by saying summer for me is like, I love the summer. I don't know too many West Indian people that don't. Okay. I
Mm-hmm.
love me the summer, especially here in Ontario. It's a lot of fun. There's a lot of things to do. We do have four seasons, and so the summer is where we just start to come off of like the spring, where it's kind of rainy, it's kind of cold still, might even be snowing, and
Mm-hmm.
right, sad but true. All up in April, like really, that's my birthday month. Like stop this, Mother Nature, I can't. But anyhow, back to what I'm saying. So the summertime for us is a time where we get to really have a lot of fun here in Ontario. And one of the big things summertime for me growing up and being, teenager to a young woman to even now as a married person is looking forward to Caravana, looking
Mm-hmm.
forward to nice long evenings with summery music and just people out on the road and you know um all the things that we don't have a chance to do during the fall and the winter and the spring. We make sure we take in the summer. We really take in the summer. I like to
Mm-hmm.
go to the Ontario place, see a knee. See a knee is a big thing. It's been like a
Yep.
tradition
Yep.
in our family.
Yep.
We gotta go. We gotta go. It's open for all of what, 2 or 3 weeks,
2 weeks.
right? And we gotta go. And when I was a kid, going to the CNE was a big deal, right? And got to have a lot of fun, got to play games and go to the different food stalls, like in the food building, and just rides and fun and friends. As a
Mm-hmm.
teenager, I started to go not with my parents, but with my girlfriends and whatever, and had a good old funky time. And I just remember the carnival food. We don't get that all year round. you know
Mm-hmm.
um Also, I find that all over the city there's little pockets of things that are happening. Like there's Jazz Fest.
Yep.
We have all these different type of festivals all through the summer. you know
Mm-hmm.
um there's Canada Day, which is coming around the corner, next week, I believe. Next week Tuesday, odd day, but next week Tuesday, Canada Day here is a big deal. You'll find park after park after park. They're doing different things, celebrating Canada. For me, as a black woman, I look forward to Caravana because it celebrates my culture. It celebrates, I see more and more black people out.
Mm-hmm.
So, in terms of the summer, right, while a black person, I find, it's our time of the year. It's
That's how
our
you feel.
time. This is when we shine. I'm telling you, man. This is when you hear the backyard barbecues going, right? You see in the parks the barbecues going. Listen, here in Canada, us black people, we love a barbecue, okay? I know the Americans, they call it a cookout. We love us some cookout up here during the summer months, okay? Everybody and their mother. That's when you'll see everybody want to pick up and just go to the bluffs, or they're gonna go to there and
Yeah.
pick up, and everybody brings something and we have a little something at the park. It's just that time of year, and I love it. I love the smells of summer. You smell the jerk pit. Excuse me. You smell the jerk pit going. You know, Mama's bringing out all the dishes. To the barbecue.
Mm.
So tell me some of the things that scream summer while black for you.
So yeah, I think that's a good. I never positioned that way, but yeah, this is a time for us to, we come out. This you're gonna see us. We're gonna be out. We
Showing
outside,
out.
okay, okay. And especially in a place where there's four seasons, is you don't have a lot of time. So this is
Right?
where you're gonna really see us out on the road. Like we're not. We in the winter we were like limiting our outdoorness,
Right?
right? So it's
Okay.
time to bruck out, as we say, right?
That's
So,
right.
I was gonna say, yeah, like for me, looking growing up like as a African Afro Caribbean person in Canada and Toronto, of course you can't forget Caribana.
What?
That is
Okay.
a that's a thing. Like she said, you were talking about cultural festivals. It doesn't need to be Caribana. There's a lot. There's Afrofest, which
Lots.
is happening July 4th. I have to remember that. I
See?
always love Afrofest. And again, it's a way to get out to not only enjoy the weather, but enjoy the culture,
That's
music,
right. That's
food,
right.
just meet other people in the
Right?
community, right? And then the big thing with Toronto, the music festivals are the big ones that that are very Afro Black centered
Mm-hmm.
are Caribana, Afrofest, and also the Jazz Festival
That's
because jazz
right.
music is rooted in African
That's
and Black
right. That's
culture.
right.
Um, so that's those are things that I love to do. Just going out more. Like we have boat parties,
That's
right? So
right.
when you go to a boat party, playing whether it's soca music, reggae music, whatever is your kind of music, we go down to the Toronto Harbor and there's lots of boats hosting literally a club on the
That's
water and
right.
Lake Ontario. So that's another thing. I like to do that more. I don't really like to go out a lot, but that's something as a in my grown days I'd still do because you
Right.
could still have a nice chill evening
That's
without
right.
it being too rowdy like the typical club thing because it is still kind of daytime, like, you know what I mean. You're not
Yeah.
going to be on the water too much in the dark. You're usually coming back when it's really really dark when you do a boat party. So that's something that I enjoy doing. And also talk about fashion,
Right?
right? This is the time where you get to wear your skirts, your bright colors. I
Show
do my
out.
hair different. I usually wear extensions most of the year. In the summer I do that a lot less. I have my natural hair in the
Yep.
summer, keep it light and
Yep.
out of my face.
Yep.
And just anything, wrapping my hair more with I feel more comfortable wearing wraps in the summer because it's summer. Pull your hair out of
Yep.
your face, get colorful,
That's
get
right.
cultural. And just those are things that I love about the summer. It's just being outside as much as possible. Whether it's a restaurant, like I told you, we actually have a lot of. Oh, I talked about music festivals, food
What?
festivals.
Toronto love a
There's
food festival year.
we have Taste of Lawrence, which is a big like a lot of Middle Eastern community
Okay.
there. We have
Ribfest.
summer. There's
Okay.
Rib Fest. There's Jerk Fest.
Okay.
And we have Summerlicious, which is an interesting kind of thing that started a few years back, where all of Toronto's top restaurants from not just Toronto, GTA, inside and out, even Scarborough, Etobicoke, all surrounding Toronto area, they have a fixed menu that you could pay one price and you could show up to any one of them and enjoy their menu and the cuisine.
Right.
It doesn't matter what kind of, it could be the top of top or regular. There's Taste of Toronto's Beer Festival, Taste of Vietnam, and Taste of the Danforth is a big one. I don't go because it's too crazy.
There
Taste of the
was a time
Danforth.
where it wasn't as crazy though. There was. I feel like when we were teenagers, because I remember going with
Mm,
my friends, like as
mhm.
teenagers, and it
Yeah,
wasn't that bad. But as of late, listen, Taste of the Danforth is an international thing, eh? Like people come
yeah,
from
it's huge. It's too
near,
big now. It's
far
like,
and wide to this damn festival.
and if you
Okay.
don't like crowds, would not recommend. And that's the thing that I feel like with food festivals. It's like it needs to be an up and coming one for me to go because generally, then it's just when it comes to food in Toronto, people will be there.
They'll be
Okay.
there. They're gonna show up and
Another
show
new
out.
one that's popular that I've been wanting to try out that maybe I'll try out this year is the Toronto Food Truck Festival.
I've heard
Just
about that.
just fast for a couple of days and just go ham because you're going to be eating a lot of bad shit.
Right?
So, but
Right.
yeah, that's another thing I forgot. A good food festival. I always try to do one is a big one. And then the final thing I would say on Summer While Black is the waterfront. So
Yes.
the waterfront, I guess, is a conundrum. But anyway, we call it the waterfront night market, but it's pretty much a harborfront in Toronto. They have a lot of concerts where they play
Yeah.
music. Usually there's always a mixture of all the cultures in Toronto, whether it's Middle Eastern, African, Caribbean,
Yep.
all types of music. Particularly with the week of Caribana, of course, is very Caribbean influenced, so you'll see a lot of reggae artists, soca artists and stuff. And that's always a beautiful time because if you don't like the crowds of Caribana, which I know Kim doesn't,
Nope.
you could
Not
still
doing it.
go and enjoy the
And
energy
that's
of
where I
the
go.
festival,
That's what I look forward
and
to.
still have and still enjoy the month or the celebrations of that week, right?
Right.
And so yeah, it's a time, like I said, we outside,
Right?
and that's been what it is since, a young person here. Yeah.
Yeah, and
And I
here,
often like to stay, like I travel, like we talk, I
yeah.
usually I travel throughout the year. I haven't done a lot of it this year, but the summertime is always my time to be in Toronto. I ain't going nowhere in the summer
No,
in
because
Toronto because I
Toronto is
enjoy it
where
here
it's
so
at.
much.
Like, honestly, it's where
Exactly.
it's at. We are doing something every day, every weekend. There's not a weekend that coming past. Like, I've been seeing, I don't know if you've been noticing, but I've been noticing the patios. The patios are out. Okay, this last week, and maybe I'd say the week before that, it's been
Yeah.
really nice outside.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
everywhere I turn, okay, like say you're in a plaza and there's a restaurant, all of a sudden patios are popping up left, right, and center.
It's patio
It's
season. You'll
patio
have a lot of time.
season. Okay, it's patio season, and you will see so many people out and about at these patios. And you know what? I'll be honest with you, Toronto is an awesome place to be in the summer. That's why a
Mm-hmm.
lot of people don't leave. They don't leave because this is where it's at. We have so much things popping in Toronto, like for the months, the 4 months that we might have of good weather.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And it's like not a weekend goes by without, something going on. And now being black while experiencing all of this, honestly, culturally, it's very, I look forward to this time of year
Mm-hmm.
because it like replenishes my cup of honoring my culture and
Yeah.
honoring people that look like me, that live like me, that culturally we see eye to eye. And it's a time of year that I look forward to. Like, I know I don't like crowds, but I find my fun. Don't you worry. I'm not going to
Mm-hmm.
Caravana. Sorry about it. I'm not going. However, that's because of my own, issues. But I still find my way to celebrate Caravana.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
There's barbecues going on left, right, and
Oh
down
yeah.
center. Okay, like you're
Mm-hmm.
you're never absent of fun. Even if you don't celebrate Caravana, there's so much things that are going on around Caravana that you won't feel like you haven't celebrated yourself, your culture, your being. And it is important, especially for me. I'm trying to pass that down to the next generation. And so I find it harder throughout the year to have examples for my daughter of her culture and seeing who she is. But when the summertime lit, okay. And on top of that, there's the island. There's all sorts of stuff that usually goes on the island as well. We have little smaller islands that surround Toronto, and you just take a quick ferry and boom, you know. So there's so much things that are going on for Black people to celebrate, where we can congregate, where we can be as one, where we can have commonalities, and what's really nice is that other people outside of Black people, other races
Mm-hmm.
embrace the culture. They embrace, because when you go to Afrofest or you go to Caravana, it's not just Black people there.
No, it's everybody. Toronto loves the diversity that is here, so you see everybody. Yeah.
Okay.
Enjoy it.
It's big, big diversity, and everybody's in it. Everybody's in it to win it. And I feel like, more and more festivals are starting to pop up because, I feel like Black people, we were the blueprint. We were the blueprint. We had Caravana. We started diversifying with Jerk Fest and Jamaica
Mm-hmm.
Fest,
Mm-hmm.
because Jamaica Fest is fairly new of a festival. It's only been
Mm-hmm.
around for maybe the last 10, 15 years. Caravana
Okay.
is something that's been around for decades. Like
Yeah.
when my parents were teenagers, they were going to Caravana. So, but yeah, so back to the point here. Now, Summer Wild Black, it's a good time. It's a good time here
Mm-hmm.
in Toronto. And I would suggest that any of you, people out here, American people, if you want a place to feel celebrated, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because I know that you're not getting a lot of that where you're at. So
Yeah, a
if you
word.
want, just come on over. Bring your American dollars. Just come on over and have fun because it's a great place. And
Yeah.
as a black person here in Canada in the summertime, you will feel appreciated. You will
Yeah.
see your culture. You will feel embraced, right? And that's one thing I will say is in the summertime I do feel embraced. Right down to the grocery store. I'm in no
Mm-hmm.
frills. I know when the caravan is coming around by the no frills. Okay, when you
No
go
frill
on to the
sale.
grocery stores, no frills food basics. When caravans start come around, they put out foods that are specific to black people.
Yeah.
That the aki is cheap that time. You understand?
Yeah, they do that a lot with the Indian holidays, the
All
Jewish
the
holidays.
time.
I love it. I love it. Yeah.
I love it. I love to see it because it's you can tell people are taking note, and
Mm-hmm.
yes, I understand it's a lucrative time. Why not?
Mm-hmm.
Why not?
Mm-hmm. Take
Can I get my
advantage.
ting? Can I get my soda, my ting for cheaper than $2? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
My beef patty, cocoa bread and everything. You understand? So yeah, but this is the time, and you'll see that they're like I said, everybody is embracing it. Everybody, not just black people, and I find we come together a lot
Yeah.
around this time as well. So it's always nice to be in Canada as a black person in the summer. It's the best time for me. I love the summer in Toronto. It is bomb.com. And so if you want to try and see what's going on here in Toronto, come on and join us, man. Take a load off of all the stress that the is going on in the Americas right now and come on over and see what's popping because there's lots going on here. And if
Mm-hmm.
you do come, behave yourself. That's all I'm telling you. Don't come over here acting like the damn fool. We're not about that life, okay? We're trying to keep it peaceful. We also celebrate Canadian talents.
Yeah,
You know,
I agree.
um, I think it was a couple of years ago when Canada was it their 50th anniversary or something like that,
Mm-hmm.
they had Cardinal Official out here. They had talents from Canada performing, and it was
Yeah.
nice to see. We embrace our being Canadian. We embrace it, but we also acknowledge the different cultures that are here
Yeah.
too, right? And we all show up and show out for all the cultures, right? The other day they had Filipino Day, just
Mm-hmm.
the other day. So, and I was sad I didn't go out and get me some lumpia. I was sad. Okay. But either which way, Summer Wild Black here in Canada is the bomb.com. We suggest that y'all come out here and see what's popping. But in the meantime, in between time, we're going to try to enjoy a little bit of our summer while, it's here. So we will say that we hope that your hearts and minds were activated on this week's show. So whether you lead with your heart or your mind, please stay passionate and thoughtful. We'll talk to y'all real soon. Bye.
Bye.